First praise, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It was important for us. We felt like the first half we were guarding well. We just missed a lot of easy ones. Ones we usually make. We made the adjustment. Just continuing to shoot. And push the pace a little bit. And we were a lot more physical in the second half on the defensive end. We made it uncomfortable for them. And made sure that we limited them to one shot as much as possible and got them in transition. Got great shots.
Coach Gundy said he felt that you guys just played way harder than this team. Is that something you guys can sense when you're out there, especially when you guys go on that run?
For sure, especially when we were on that run. We felt like they were kind of just letting us hit them. We just kept pushing. And we didn't give up and didn't take our foot off the gas. That's something that we got to learn from and build off of, because it's been a trend for us to give up leads and like that. And, allow teams back in the game, but we did a great job sustaining it. Teams are going to go on runs, but when we play with that physicality and that toughness through the whole game, we're tough to beat.
Brad, you ditched the offensive gas, but you ditched the goggles. At some point, was it just not? I know some guys have had trouble. That was just uncomfortable, or
a little bit of everything. Mental. He was sliding off my face a little bit, and they were a different color too, so it was a little bit. I gotta get used to them. I'll probably have to wear them the next game, possibly, but still, it's a trial and error.
You guys are obviously already without John. You're dealing with that. The fact that you guys are able to get a win against a team right now that's the second best record. What's that going to say about the potential for this team? You guys have the pieces. It's a matter of kind of getting it going.
We know that if we compete like that and play like that, we could have won a lot of the games that we lost, and moving forward, we know that that's how we have to play. We have to show that same energy, not caring who gets the ball, who shoots the ball on offense, and defensively help each other. That's what we did. We were scrambling, we were physical, and we rebounded the ball, so whenever we do those things, we love our chances at the end of the day, but when we get caught up in ourselves and caught up in the wrong things, and we get that selfish mindset, that's when we break down as a team.
So Brad, can you just share your thoughts on what Satoransky brought to you guys tonight?
He was great. I told him even before the game, I told him to shoot around, just continue to keep playing the way he's been playing, man. His confidence is high. Coaches leaving him out there on the floor to give him a chance, and he's taking full advantage of it. He's a pro. He's been a pro for a while, and he understands the game. He just has to come to him, and he's allowing it to do so. He understands he's the point guard. He has to run the floor, run the team, and he's doing a great job of it.
For you, you're used to having John, got guy feet ball now. Tim, what is different with Satoransky? What is he going to do for you on both ends of the court?
I feel like his size helps us out a lot, because he's able to switch a lot. He rebounds really well, and he knocks down those threes. He's a straight catch and shoot guy now, so. He's definitely capable of a lot of things. He can get to the basket, and it was just a matter of him getting that opportunity, man. And he took full advantage of it, and hopefully, moving forward, he can have the same shots, and the same chances. We just need to continue to stay aggressive on both ends of the floor. He defends well, and when he gets the rebound, that just pushes us in transition.
They revealed the name of the G League team. Did you hear?
Was it Go-Go?
Capital City Go-Go's.
I like it, maybe. I'm not a fan of Go-Go though.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not. I'm not from DC. I can't just. And it's. I don't know. It's got.
Get to you.
It's got to grow on me. Some is all right. So I've listened to a few. My boy Quinn Cook, growing up with him, he used to put me on Go-Go all the time. Mm-hmm. And with some stuff I can listen to, or something I just can't get down with. But for the most part, I'm in DC now, so I guess I gotta adapt to it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Focus. We got Octavia Wyatt, Wilson Turpay Jr. We got Damo Bro over in the corner doing his social media thing. So you guys follow us on social media. That's the guy, that's the gift guy. And if you tune in the mailbag, he gets a chance to talk once a week. We let him out his cage and talk, every once in a while. Very opinionated young man, fun conversations all the time. But as we told you guys on social media, man, it's the jam-packed show. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. Cardell attended the Morgan Wooten tip-off this past weekend. So in his absence, he'll be calling in a little bit later. I'm going to do my best to tell you who stood out. All right, so the third annual Morgan Wooten Sip-Off Showcase took place on December 2nd, 2017 at Bishop Dennis O'Connell High School. That was this past weekend. And it's always showcased some of the best players and coaches in the Washington, D.C. area. Players such as University of Maryland's Anthony Cohen, Rhode Island's Jeff Dotwin, Providence's Nate Watson, have just to name a few, have all participated in this prestigious showcase. This year's event was no different. Players like O'Connell, Xavier Johnson, he's a Nebraska commit. Georgetown Prep's Jared Bynum, committed to St. Joseph's. McDonough's Noah Lockie, Florida, he's committed to Florida. And shout out to Florida for, I think they switching to the Jordan brand this year. Shout out to them. We've seen that all over. Saw that on the timeline as well? Okay. Shout out to Florida. Jumpman insignia, never a bad thing. And Sidwell Friends, Sadiq Bey, he's committed to North Carolina State, are just some of the big-time players that participated. But here are the players that made Cardell's list. Friendship Tech's Malik Miller, a 6'3 guard, senior guard. He was Cardell's MVP, posted 21 points and 32 rebounds.
Yikes.
21 points and 32 rebounds at 6'3. He's a tweener, guard forward, over 15th ranked Riverdale Baptist. The young man's committed to Morgan State. McKinley Tech, they had Woody Newton at 6'7", junior forward. Another standout. We got Pilates Amir Warwick, a 6'5" senior guard. 13th ranked Bullis, showing out for them, was Frevedo Morse, 6' senior point guard. He's committed to Mount St. Mary's. For Bullis, we got a couple players for Bullis. The first being Lincoln Yetter, 6'2" senior. Another guard forward. That's a trend. We've seen a lot of tweeners on this list so far. The other young man from Bullis, we got Nenda Tarki, 6'2", junior guard. Tacoma Academy had two players make the list. First being Freddie Liriano, 5'9", senior point guard, and Christian Flaherty, 6'1", senior guard. 11th ranked Sidwell Friends, Jason Gibbon, 6'1", junior point guard. And mentioned a little bit earlier, Sadiq Bey, also from Sidwell and Friends. That's the young man going to North Carolina State. McDonough's Noe Lockie, 6'2", senior guard. Florida commit made the list. And 7th ranked Georgetown Prep, they had Jared Bynum, St. Joe's commit. So a lot of point guards make this list, a lot of guards showing out, both in the traditional sense and some of those that are playing on the wing. Spend a little bit more time on the wing, and even a couple in the paint, as you saw, about the 32 rebounds.
Yeah, I still can't get over that.
That's crazy. It's a crazy line at 6'3".
Yeah, especially at 6'3".
It's a crazy line, first of all, but
6'3"
at 6'3",
makes it more special.
I just want to make sure it's not me. Like, I read it.
It
I'm
makes
just
it more
like,
special. It's like 6'3", you got 30.
I almost wanted to start it with 32 rebounds and 21 points.
Yeah,
but,
you might as well.
I don't think that's how it usually goes. But Bishop O'Connell, last two players on Cardell's list. Xavier Johnson, 6'2", senior point guard who's committed to Nebraska. Congrats to him. And Bishop O'Connell's other young man, Ayon Teal, 5'8", junior point guard. So you guys already know, if Cardell had a list from an event, that means you need to head over to finestmag.com as soon as possible. I know those highlights are on the way. Got a lot of pictures already up over there, so definitely check that out. All right, moving on. It was something that Cardell, Damo, I got roped into this. You know, I'm not going to take any credit for this because I'm the odd man out. High school's not really my thing, but we came together. Well, I joined those two. I say that because I don't want to take any responsibility for this at all. I joined those two wonderful gentlemen to come up with a list. So obviously, you know, the DMV, sometimes people don't include Baltimore. Sometimes people in Maryland don't include Virginia, vice versa. You know, it's kind of segmented at times. So what we're going to do here on The Focus, with the hopes that we got a couple of you guys watching from all the areas that we mentioned, is put together a weekly high school boys and girls top 10 list. So with the help of Damo, Cardell, Dudley, those are the people really involved. I pitched in again. I was the third wheel in this scenario. We're gonna start with the girls. Coming in at 10, Largo.
Gotta respect Largo.
Number 9, Georgetown Visitation. At 8, we got Catonsville. We're gonna get a drum roll these coming weeks to make this some more fun. 6, we got McDonough. 5, Rock Creek Christian. At 4, we got Paul VI. Riverdale Baptist at 3, St. John's at 2, and St. Francis at 1. Again, that's Largo, Georgetown Visitation, Catonsville, Roland Park, McDonough, Rock Creek Christian, Paul VI, Riverdale Baptist, St. John's, and St. Francis for the inaugural Focus TV High School Girls Top 10. And again, this is going to be updated weekly, so we look forward to what each and every one of these teams do each week. And we look forward to see what happens in the rankings as the season goes on.
Get it shaken up, get some people in and out.
Octavia already knows, no matter what it is in sports, I'm down for chaos. So I need the table to get flipped. I'm here for all the upsets, all that type of thing. At the same time, if you are dominant, I'm on your side as well. I'm here for excellence.
If you're number one every week.
Hey, look, I will defend you each and every week. As a proud UConn women's fan, I am here for excellence no matter how it happens. All right, on the boys' side, we're going to go again 10-1. Starting at 10, Mount St. Joseph. 9, we got John Carroll. St. Francis at 8. You got a couple of these schools in both lists. Shout out to both programs. At 7, we got Gonzaga. 6, VA's Loudoun Valley. Got Baltimore Poly at 5. At 4, Wilson. 3, DeMatha. At 2, we have Perry Hall. At 1, we have Paul VI. Again, just to rewind this back just a little bit. That's Mount St. Joseph at 10. John Carroll at 9. 8, we got St. Francis. 7 is Gonzaga. 6 is Loudoun Valley. 5 is Baltimore Poly. 4 is Wilson. 3 is DeMatha. 2 is Perry Hall. And number 1 is Paul VI. That's not bad, St. Francis, Paul VI. Again, it's good to see both schools having a good men's and women's, well, boys and girls, basketball program. I mean, they're going to end up going to men's and women's programs, which is the hope.
True.
So, but again, shout out to Cardell, Damo. I'm taking little to no credit here. It's not my world of expertise. But I'm going to have to pay attention now for each and every week. Hopefully they bring Octavia in so I could back out of this.
I wouldn't mind. It's nice to see, the schools get ranking. One thing I just want some more public schools to get in there. I want all you public schools out there to represent. But it's always good to see the different lists. And like I said, I'm interested to see the shakeup of it, as the season progresses, like who moves up the ranks, who gets booted out, who stays at number 1. I'm here for it all. So
you're down with the chaos.
I'm here for it all.
Down with the chaos. That's what we like here. We like chaos at times. But we're going to take a quick break, and coming up next, we got Octavia's NFC East segment, which is going to be fun for me personally because there will not be a Fly Eagles Fly.
Oh, there will be.
This week there shall not be a Fly Eagles Fly.
There will be.
And this is the only week this season I get to tell her my team won and her team didn't. So we're going to take a quick break so I can enjoy this petty right quick. You're watching the Focus TV. All right, folks, welcome back to the Focus. I tell you, I had some fun during the break, But before she gets into her NFC East segment, I just want to let it be known the one week, the one time this NFL season, my Niners did give me something to be happy about. It's been a boring, sad year, but thank you to Jimmy Garoppolo and company. Jimmy G. My team won this week and yours lost.
That is. So, correct. I can own that. That definitely happened.
I can't say anything else, but I get this week. This week's mine.
I'm not taking it away from you.
I appreciate you.
Because, like I told you, my boyfriend's a Niners fan too, and then we always joke that, get in the red zone, It's always field goals. It can't get a touchdown. And I was like, although they didn't have a touchdown this week, and shouts out to Robbie Gold for going back against his old team.
How about that?
And making five. He scored all 8 points and won the game. So
And they said he couldn't kick no more.
Yeah, I heard during, I don't know if it was during the game or afterwards, where they said that he was actually grateful to them for releasing him because it pushed him to be better. So for him to be able to go back and play against them and beat them, that was good for him. And like we said, I have to shout out Tariq Cohen. He's from my alma mater, North Carolina A&T. That was a crazy punt return.
Do you understand what I saw? I wasn't mad. Like, do you understand? Like, I just wasn't. I know a bunch of Niner fans were angry. Yes. I was like the negative 2%. That was just like, you kicked it to him.
Yeah, and he's special, and I've always said he reminds me of Darren Sproles. So definitely look forward for more from him. But to get into this whole NFC East thing, of course.
Are we going to start with the Eagles loss or no?
No, we're going to go in order like we have every week.
Bottom to the top again?
Yeah, because we still at the top.
So who's at the bottom this week?
Who's at the bottom this week? The same team's been at the bottom the entire year. So last week we said that they were mathematically out of the playoffs. They are still mathematically out of the playoffs. Giants played the Raiders this week. Giants are 2-10. Lost to the Raiders 24-17. Everybody knows Eli Manning was benched this week. Of course, Geno Smith started. He was 21-34, 212 yards, and 1 touchdown. Darkway had 14 carries for 32 yards and 1 touchdown, and Evan Ingram had 7 receptions, 99 yards, and 1 touchdown. To get the elephant out the room, everybody's upset about Eli being benched, and of course, I understand it. A lot of people actually have an issue with how it was done, and I understand that. I'm like you said, you were the negative 2%. I'm in the negative 2% on this as well. I don't see the big deal. To me, it's a business. This happens every day. Yes, he's been their starting quarterback since 2004, however long it's been. I understand, he's hurt, everything, but at the end of the day, like they said, they're not playing for anything. I feel like why not let Geno get in, get some reps. Obviously we know he's not going to be better than Eli, just off of principle, but let him get in. I mean, like, why risk Eli getting injured? Obviously everybody's thinking he's going to be out of there next year anyway. Ben McAdoo was fired. The GM was fired. He's taken a beating this year, to be completely honest. So I get he's upset, but at the same time, he should be a little bit relieved, take a break. But he's already going to be starting next week. They've already come out and said that, he's no longer going to be benched. He's going to play next week. Next week they do play against the Cowboys. But a couple of spots from the game. It wasn't too much. Geno had 2 fumbles that they lost. The one bright spot for me is Evan Ingram, being a rookie tight end. I believe they said that he has a record now for being the only rookie tight end in the Giants franchise to have, I can't remember how many touchdowns it is, but so shout out to him, because through all of this, he's been there and he's been, holding the team together as much as possible. The other good part for me was that you could tell that they didn't give up.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, forget it, we just not even going to try. The defense tried their best, even with Janoris Jenkins being out. He's on IR as well. So, of course, they've had so many injuries this year. It's been hard for them. They did get Sterling Shepard back this week. He did decent as well. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just not, they're looking forward to next year at this point. They're just trying to get through the rest of this season with their dignity and just, try to compete as much as possible.
Not dignity, though.
I mean, yeah, because I feel like that's what they said was one of the major reasons why they let go of McAdoo. They had came out earlier in the year saying that they were going to wait to the end of the year, evaluate everything, and then go from there. But this whole debacle of how Eli was handled, they don't like to be embarrassed. They call themselves the class of the NFL. They want to be a classy team. So I think that's really what it came down to, that it was just too much. They talking about former Giants players going to the game next week and everybody wearing Eli Manning jerseys and all of this hoopla going on. So I'm pretty sure that he was just trying to get this over with quietly. Everybody knows they wanted McAdoo gone, so they just went ahead and did it. On to the next. We had the Redskins, who are 5-7. They actually played the Cowboys, who are now 6-6. The Redskins lost 38-14 last Thursday. Redskins' next game is going to be against the Chargers. Kirk Cousins was 26 of 37 for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. P. Ryan was 12 carries, 38 yards. Ryan Grant, 5 receptions, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. and Cousins and Crowder both with the fumble. Crowder had a very tough game. He dropped the ball that kind of bounced off his hand and into Heath's hands for a pick, and then right after that fumbled the punt. So it was 2 back-to-back plays for him. That was pretty rough, especially coming off of a good game previously. Same with P. Ryan. P. Ryan coming off of a 100-yard game and only getting 36 yards this game. So it was a lot going on. They couldn't get the running game started. So, of course, that kind of did a domino effect for them. It was too many turnovers, 4 turnovers, and then once again their offensive line is still not healthy. Still, rotating players in and out every time there's an injury. I believe Trent Williams actually got carted to the locker room during the game. So it's hard for them at this time, and they just couldn't stop Alfred Morris at all.
That's crazy.
His first 100-yard rushing game since he left the Redskins and since he signed on with Dallas last year. So, like I said, their next game is against the Chargers. It doesn't get any easier, although the Chargers did start off pretty slow this year. They've come on very, very late, and, they're making a push for the playoffs as well. It's not over for the Redskins. It's getting slimmer and slimmer, but they do still have a chance. They have to win out. To have a chance, they have to win out the rest of the game. So this next game is really a must-win for them. Like I said, they played the Cowboys, who are now second they've been second. They're second in the division. They're 6-6. They beat the Redskins 38-14. Prescott was 11 of 22 for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alfred Morris, 27 carries, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, and Des Bryant, 5 receptions, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. It was good to see Des back, getting in the groove. A lot of people are saying, is he done? Is he overrated? What are they going to do? He showed up for them, and you could tell that this game meant a lot to them. And I always say this every year, no matter how bad each team is, when they play each other, it's just something clicks, for one team or both teams, and this time it just happened to be the Cowboys. I really didn't think, to be completely honest, before the game started, that the Cowboys would win.
And you probably weren't alone in that.
And I'm being completely honest. I really felt like the Redskins knew that they needed that game and they were going to come out and win. But I still just think that, it's that rivalry. Every time they play against each other, it's just something happens for them. You could tell it was a do-or-die game for them. All of their team, offense, defense, and special teams showed up, to make sure that they won. So they play the Giants next week. So the Giants and the Cowboys play next week. So we'll see how that shapes up to go. And, of course, last but not least, the Eagles. We're now 10-2. Played the Seahawks, lost 24-10. Next game is going to be against the Rams. Carson Wentz was 29 of 45, 348 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 fumble loss. Jay Ajayi, 9 carries for 35 yards, and Nelson Aguilar with his best game of the season, 7 receptions for 141 yards and 1 touchdown. To me, it was just a mess. Everything was a mess. Carson wasn't Carson at all. I always say, even if you look at the stats, like the last couple of games they've played in, he hasn't thrown an interception. So I feel like, to me, and a lot of people are going to say it sounds like a cop-out, but it is what it is. To me, I just think that this game was the game that they needed to test how they were going to be in the playoffs. This was a playoff atmosphere in Seattle with a team that, they're not as great as they used to be, but everybody knows that Seattle's a grind-out team, and they take playing in their home arena very, very seriously. And to be completely honest, we just could not get to Russell, at all. He was everywhere. He was amazing. So, can't take anything away from that. We were penalized entirely too much. I believe it was 7 penalties for 64 yards, and they were big penalties at that. Darby with a pass interference, Patrick Robinson, people missing tackles. It was everything. I really think that, and people say, like I said, they think it's a cop-out, but I said this before the game even started. If we lost that game, that it was a game that we needed to lose. I feel like this whole being first in the division and being first in the NFC and everything, it's a lot of pressure. So just like, that year, I believe Carolina was undefeated. They needed that one loss to kind of bring them back down. Everybody knows they've been celebrating a lot. This brought them back down into their lane. Let them humble themselves a little bit, calm down, realize that they are mortal. They can be beaten. So there were a lot of coaching errors and mental mistakes. There was one, usually during the games, we go for 4th and 1s early in the game all the time. But I think because this was such a hyped up game, everybody was
played a little scared.
Yeah, I do. I honestly do think they played a little scared because any other time they're going for it. They had 2 of them in the first half that they didn't go for. The one they went for in the fourth half, in the second half, I don't know why they went for it. So it was kind of like, you could see it was a tug and pull, trying to figure out what they want to do, how they want to get out of this hole. But I definitely think it was a very humbling game. And one other thing I did say that I did see was that you can start to see that Jason Peters not being there is starting to take a toll on the team a little bit.
Especially against a pass rush like that.
Exactly. So Vaitai, he's been okay for the season, holding up in Peters' spot. But you could see in that game that when we play against big pass rushing teams, like they're going to have to give him a little bit more help. He has come along as the season has progressed, but it's got to be better. Like I said, they play the Rams this week. They are staying out there. So I think that was a good decision, for the team to stay on the West Coast to not have to worry about the time difference. So I'm excited. I'm not worried. I'm not upset. It is what it is. They lost the game. I'm glad. The Saints lost the game too. People lose. It is what it is. But I'm still going to say fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah. The other thing, like you pointed out, I guess I'll be looking forward to this weekend as it pertains to the Eagles is just, like you said, that was the first time that not having Jason Peters really was like it really.
It showed. It showed so much that game. The ends are what are very, very important on the offensive line.
Tackles, it's everything.
It's everything, and and it showed that showed right then and there that something needs to be done. So hopefully, Jason Peters can come back next year, especially with Alshon Jeffrey signing a 4-year extension. Trying to figure out. And like I said last week, with Torrey Smith, like they weren't really playing him that much last week. He got a lot of more receptions and targets this week, so I was a little bit surprised with that as well. And even with the flip on the running game, usually a lot of times they start with Blunt and let Blunt go for a while. Like Ajay would jump in there every now and then. Clement would jump in there a lot every now and then. Although Ajay got one more carry than LeGarrette, they were important carries. I thought that they should have went to Blunt a little bit more. But, you live and you learn.
I probably agree with you most of the time with most of the decisions. It would kind of off considering how they usually played. I think one of the reasons you probably didn't want to go with LeGarrette against Seattle is that them type of backs, like, that doesn't really bother them.
But he started off so well. That's why I was saying it. Like, I felt like he started off well, and I feel like they should at least try to see what happened, but it was like they kind of went away from that before you could even see what would really happen.
I mean, one of the hardest thing is when you play in Seattle is you don't want to get into a rhythm. Well, you want to get into a rhythm as an offense, but you don't want to get predictable.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Especially against them. You get predictable. Bobby Wagner in the middle, he's not having that. I know they missing Sham. I know they missing Chancellor. Sherman, Chancellor, but Bobby Wags is still in the middle of defense.
Yeah, and
that defensive line
there.
is still there.
He was there.
You could tell up front with the tackle. But it should be fun times, man. Another week in the NFL is done. Another week coming up. All right, so before we go to our next break, just a little DC United news. This happened maybe a week ago. I didn't get a chance to share on last week's show. So it's that time of year with the MLS. So they're playing the championship series now. But for those teams that did not make the playoffs, such as DC United, decision time came in terms of who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. So they did not exercise the options of Deshaun Brown, Julian Boucher, Sean Franklin, Eric Livnowski, Chris Korb, Chris Aduyatsam, Lloyd Sam, and Rob Vincent. Also, Patrick Niarco, Marcelo Sarvis, obviously Bill Meade, and then Chris Rolfe retired. So Steve Clark in DC United, per the last press release, was that they were still in contract discussions. But as of right now, you guys can see on the screen, these are the people that are on the active roster. Travis Wara, so they got one keeper. Obviously, they're probably going to get Clark signed. 5 defenders, and Steve Birnbaum, Chris Durkin, who is a local kid out of high school. So, he couldn't play last year, finally gets a chance. Played on the U.S. 17 under team this past year. Taylor Kemp, Kofi Apare, Jalen Robinson. Midfield, Luciano Acosta, Paul Areola, Russell Canoes, Nick DeLeon, Ian Harks, Jed Jeffrey, and Zoltan Steiber are all still here. Forwards, as of right now, are Bruno Miranda and Patrick Mullins. Again, if you go back to a lot of things we shared, they expect to be making changes to this roster in the offseason, both via trades, free agency. However they need it, Ben also made it quite clear they want to get better. And the way that they finished last year is unacceptable. They want to get back to, their storied ways, kind of like you talk about the Giants with in terms of how they look upon themselves and being embarrassed. Last year wasn't a banner year for these United, and the least bit was the opposite of such. So they're probably gonna have a top 5 pick in the MLS draft. We should be going, so we look forward to that and sharing that with you. But that's what's going on as of this moment. Any given day in the MLS, you dress 18 players. As of right now, just a quick little math.
15.
Yeah.
I counted it for
Yeah.
you. I saw it.
I appreciate you. So
I
they're
was
under.
like, dang, who's left?
So like if they had to play a game right now, you said they're at what?
15.
They're 3 players shy of a game day roster. Just to let that sink in for a hot second. But you're watching The Focus. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, Cardell will be joining us. We'll be back. Welcome back. Oh, man. Octavia, before Cardell calls, and I heard you mention the suspensions.
Yeah, man. It's a
Talk
lot
about some of
going on.
these,
And
man.
what makes it hurt me
In
so
all the
much,
sports.
What makes it
Something
hurt
going
me
on.
so much is that 2 of them are on my fantasy teams. I'm like, y'all just
Here
gonna
you
get
go.
y'all just gonna get thrown out, really?
You have
Last
Juju
week,
on your specials?
I do. I have Juju. I had Gronk. Last week I had Crabtree, even though he'd been on my bench for a while, but still.
Mr. Snatch Your Train.
He get his chain
Chain
snatched every
snatched.
week. Just it's ridiculous. That of course all the ejections in the NBA. KD's been ejected twice. Boogie's been ejected.
Sean Livingston for the first time.
Sean Livingston got ejected, although the ref got suspended as well.
Which I give the NBA credit for that. Because if you watch the video,
He walked in.
obviously at 6'7", 6'8", you got to lower your head to talk to us normal sized people, right? I don't understand why the ref came that close to him.
He was
That
probably in
was a
his
little
feelings
much.
too, though.
I felt like it was,
I get it though, because I was like, I do feel bad for some of the refs sometimes because like they berate them, and
Yeah.
and at the same time, I don't think that they do it on purpose. It's just that they're so into the moment,
Yep.
they're so passionate about it, and they're just like, why aren't you calling fouls? Like I'm giving my all and all this other stuff. So
you
they
call
get it.
that?
But at the same time, like y'all gotta remember, like the refs is men too. Like they like, who are you talking to? So I mean,
Exactly.
like I get it, but everybody getting thrown out, and getting suspensions. Suspensions are being upheld, so you can appeal.
Okay,
if
so
you
you
want.
brought up suspensions, man. I'm happy that Juju appealed, and I hope he wins his appeal.
He didn't. It
I
just came up.
Oh, he didn't?
Nah.
See, look, it was a clean football play. I'm sorry that Vontae Burfict got put night, okay? That was a clean hit. I think he should have got fined for standing over him. I get the taunting part of it. Because he stood over him and probably said some not nice things.
Probably.
I get that. Surely fine him, and I'm cool. The suspension I didn't think was warranted. George Icola's suspension, I do think was warranted.
And
that felt
he's
like
there
that
too.
was on purpose. I felt like after Vontae's went down, tried to hurt AB. That was you didn't try to break up the ball. You're a 6'4" safety. You could have reached a hand out. You tried to murder AB in the end zone. Gronk, Lord, how you not out for the season? It must be nice to be. And the thing is, I said I was with my man Daryl. I'm gonna tone this down as much as I can because I told you because y'all gave my team Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not gonna say nothing mean about the Patriots. I'm gonna try my best not to. But even Bill Belichick was like, "Come on, man, that's some what?" When he was talking to the coach, I don't understand how that's a 1-game suspension.
I did read that they said that they kind of like gave not give him a pass, but give him a pass.
Like they gave him a pass.
Gave him a pass for it because it was. Part of me is like I get why he did it, just because, like I said, they get passionate in these things and they get upset because he was fouled on the play.
I mean, but this is the other thing. All right, look, you are foul, but at the same time, you are larger than every secondary member.
That is very true.
So I'm also going to say, when you push off, that probably feels a little bit different than an average size wide receiver.
The same thing that LeBron talks about all the time is like, because I'm big, I don't get calls just because I'm big. Like
But at the
that doesn't
same
mean I
time-
don't get fouled either.
But at
so
the same time, because you big, you foul people.
that's true too. It is a little bit different in basketball than it is in football, of course.
I mean, it's not too much different. You're abnormally big, okay? And you're already playing a sport with big people. If you're abnormally big in a sport with big people, yeah, I get that sometimes, the whistle doesn't get blown enough. At the same time, we've seen you jump stop, hop step, travel, Euro
1,000
step
times.
into a layup several times and sometimes get the continuation. So you got to take the good with the bad, sir. Gronk, we've seen you violently push off at the top of routes before. In big games, big moments. That little DB on Buffalo did not do anything to deserve the people's elbow that you dropped on the
He
sideline.
did, and it was so late. That's what made it even worse. It was like you 10 seconds too late, sir. He already out of bounds, the play over, and you just up and just, here we go. I'm just gonna do this because I want to.
And then I get the Bills players, like, you don't want to get suspended, but like at the same time, nobody try to get retribution for that at all. Like not even.
What you just said, he huge. They probably like,
But nobody
I'm
even
gonna
try to
let
get
that
fake
go.
mad. Not even like NBA fake mad. Nothing.
I mean, I guess some of them got hurt. You saw how KD went after Boogie.
That's the other thing is NBA's in a place right now, man. Like I don't understand this, and the thing that I don't understand is like y'all do know even when the NBA was like what it was, people still hardly fought, and then they changed the rules so much because those people did things. Those type of players aren't in the league anymore. Not to knock today's players, but
Not tell the truth.
just to call it what it is, it's nothing but pump faking. No one's gonna do anything to anybody. And if I'm the refs, like some of the ejections, they're just talking. No one's really gonna touch anybody because the type of bread everyone's making right now, no one's about to put that in jeopardy. Seriously,
That's true.
As crazy as people might think Boogie is, he's not losing more money for nothing.
He already lost money though. He already got 7 already.
But I'm just saying, but think about this: if people think he's crazy
Like
as
a
he comes
little over a
across,
month.
why does it stop at the tech? Even he knows there's a line like I ain't doing all that. that direct deposit's gonna stop.
That's true.
There's a line. Like, I'm gonna get mad. I'm a whine. There's most NBA players, but come on, man. Like it's just crazy, man. And I don't understand everybody like buying into it, man. It's nothing.
They need something to talk about.
It's just nothing. Like, we're in a boring part of the season. But that being said, Cardell's calling in at 8:45. We're going to take a couple minutes right now to address the Washington Wizards, who are on the second part of their 5-game road trip. Tonight, they play the Portland Trail Blazers. Again, that's in Portland, tonight at 10 p.m. Last night, they were in Utah. Things did not go well in Utah at all.
And I did not see the game, but I saw the highlights.
Things went very bad in Utah last night.
Really, really bad. That was a lot of points they lost by. Like a lot.
So last night, the Washington Wizards fell to the Utah Jazz. Let me go ahead and get this straight.
I think it's at 160.
115-69.
That's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points.
That's got to be like a record.
And not to knock Utah, not to knock them at all, but again, we just try to be real here. It's not as if they are sitting on a bunch of superb offensive talent.
Yeah.
We do know they are a good defensive team. This was also Rudy Gobert's first game back after being out. That being said, the same thing that Cardell and I have been talking about for, all season so far for Washington, they got to start matching how hard their opponents play. And until that happens, there's nothing that can be said. And I get, like I've heard a lot of the conversations down when I was talking early. I've had conversations with other people too. Some people immediately want to go talk about Scott Brooks. And I do get like, obviously everything that Coach Scott Brooks does, I'm not going to agree with everything. I don't think anybody agrees with everything a coach does. Even Steve Kerr, there's times, and won a couple chips already as a coach. There's things he does where we're like, why'd you do that? Why'd you put that liner back in? What are you doing? So we do that with Popovich sometimes too. No matter how smart, how good of a coach we think you may be, sometimes those things happen. But for me in Washington, it's nothing but a player thing. Like, and so they want to change this mentality as a team, their mindset, and nothing's really going to change. And our concern, which we've been sharing the past couple of weeks, has been we're getting there. Might even be through the first quarter of the season right now, right?
Yeah, close.
So as of right now, they played 23 games and 2 more games. So on this road trip, we're going to get a quarter of the season. It's just not a good look. Right now, they're still in first place in the Southeast Division. They're 12-11, and they have a 1-game lead on the Miami Heat, a 2.5-game lead on the Charlotte Hornets, and a 3-game lead on Orlando Magic. Atlanta, we're not factoring at all because life's over for them. They're probably going to be in the Marvin Bagley sweepstakes or something like that. They're 5-18, and nothing's probably going to change. They're 3-13 in the conference. It's just all types of bad for them as a whole. But if you're Washington, you got 4 more games on this trip. Say you drop 2 or 3 more of these games. Miami's only a game behind you. You got Charlotte, again, 2.5 out. You can't even sustain what might happen to you. So we're going to continue this conversation in a little bit. But Cardell, what's going on this evening?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Happy to have you call in, man. So you were at a high school game this evening. We heard a buzzer in the background. How was your night? How has your night been so far?
It's good. Nice little competitive game. Here at National Christian Academy. A lot of folks in the area know what that name means. You know what I'm saying? Once a national power, so now, they're trying to get back to that. They're taking on Virginia Academy, and they're leading 45-35. National Christian just long, man. They're in the 2-3 zone and it's bothering Virginia Academy and forcing them to shoot jumpers, and they haven't made consistent jumpers. So right now they're in a dogfight, but Virginia Academy defense has been stifling. Like, they getting a lot of turnovers and they getting out and running, and they trying to, scratch and claw their way to this win. But, right now they're trailing by 10.
All right, so what do you expect in the second half? We're talking about, do you think that zone's going to hold up, or do you think Virginia Academy's defense is going to keep them in it?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, what you say?
I was saying, so at the half, 45-35, what do you think is going to happen in the second half?
I mean, it's in the fourth quarter right now. It's 4:51 left in the fourth. So
Oh, boy.
It's 45-35, so I'm not sure right now, unless Virginia Academy start making shots, it's going to be hard for them to, make a run. Like, National Christian, I'm looking at them right now. They got about 4 or 5 dudes, 6'7" and above, and they're long and athletic. So, and they sitting in the 2-3 zone, which is making it hard for them to get to the lane and make passes and stuff like that. So they have to knock down some shots to get them out of their zone. And right now they haven't been able to do that.
All right, so at the top of the show, we talked about the Morgan Wooten tip-off a little bit. Was there anything you wanted to add? I read your notes as best I could, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Trying to get the right people to shine they deserve, man. There was a lot of high prospects in the building. So, definitely competitive. And, it was my first year doing it, so we don't mind checking it out again next year, too.
All right, last but not least, Octavia and I were talking about the Wizards a little bit. You just want to chime in? I was telling everybody it's literally the same thing we've been preaching about all year, effort and defense. So you want to give you your chance to chime in on the Wizards before we move on, man.
You talking about the Wizards?
Yes, sir.
So you keep going there and out.
Yeah, we talk about the Wizards.
As far as for the Wizards, man, oh, man, we talked about this off wax, but they got to get their hearts in order, plain and simple. They either want it or they don't. Enough with the too cool for school attitude, enough with the, we got enough talent, we going to figure this out, we'll turn it on later on. They need to turn it on now because it's getting to that point where it's going to be a dogfight second half of the season. And like I said, by the time they get to the playoffs, they're not going to have much left to do what they need to do to go on the run they should be going on. I don't want to hear excuses that Wall was out because the same thing was happening when he was in. The bench for the most part been doing their job. The starters got to step their game up, and they got to take it personal on defense. We've been saying that all season, but it don't mean nothing until they do it, man. It's just, you wouldn't expect this from a team with that much talent and professional basketball players, but, You know, it is what it is. You know, you wouldn't expect to have to question that effort, but last night was, like as Brad Bill said, embarrassing.
Yeah, to say the least. That's the nicest way to say it. Hey, we want to thank you for calling in, man. And I know you're going to let us know how this game ends on social media. So you have a good night, okay?
All right, y'all too, man.
All right, appreciate it. We told y'all that man stays in the gym. It's another example of that. So we were talking about the Wizards.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the rest of the NBA now. So in terms of the Wizards and what's going on, as of right now, if the playoffs start today, they are currently in the 8th seed.
Which means they would have to
There's
face.
no bueno. Which means they would be taking on the Boston Celtics. If they moved up to the 7th seed, you know, they're half game behind Indiana, they'd be taking off Cleveland. I imagine those are things you would want to avoid.
Definitely.
In the first round. Like for me personally, if I'm a team in the East, the 3 teams I don't want to deal with in the first round just because of the wear and tear it's going to put on you, Boston, Cleveland, and Philadelphia.
Yep.
3 teams I just don't want absolutely anything to do with because they're going to be annoying. Very, very annoying. Boston right now, we know that big win streak they went on.
16 games.
16 games. Well, guess who's 4 games off of that streak?
The Cavs. Came out of nowhere.
Man, we knew they.
We did.
All right, so in their last 10 games, they're 10-0. They're on a 12-game win streak right now. 17-7. Remember before, you know, a couple weeks ago, they were in the bottom of the.
They wasn't even in the playoffs. They weren't even in the top 8.
You know, and then we had some folks
the teams in the East
go crazy with the narratives, like, you know, oh my goodness, like we knew they were struggling, but it's not like the end of the world. They still don't have IT back. We're seeing that they're becoming a basketball team. They're starting to figure each other out. Cardell and I were talking earlier. One of the things we just wanted to, you know, I know a lot of people kind of ignore this guy, but Kevin Love's been balling through the street.
Yeah, he had,
quietly.
I can't remember the game that LeBron got ejected out. He had 38.
Mm-hmm. Quietly, it's like really found his rhythm in Cleveland, and he's played a big role in this. LeBron's best buddy, you know, D Wade. Obviously, no flash moments, nothing like that. But he's really thrived. He's found his footing in his Manu role. You know, he's in the Manu stage. In his Manu role, he's found his footing. And, you know, I think a couple games ago, he was averaging like 18, 3, and 5 off the bench. I mean, they're in a good place right now.
Yeah, even if you say that, you know, they still have some injuries. I know Iman is out. Is Tristan still out?
Yeah.
You know, like you said, IT's supposed to come back in January. D Rose has been out. He just now said that he wants to come back and play. You know, so you think about that. They on a 12-game winning streak, and they still missing, you know, some key components to their team. So it can only get scarier from here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's why we've been so heavy about what's going on in Washington is this is the time of year that you wanted to give yourself a cushion, right? And now, as of right now, you've given up that cushion to a degree. Because, again, now you're without one of your best players in war. You're playing, like, 3 or 4. You're on a 5-game West Coast trip. It's never fun playing teams in the West. I don't care who it is or what's going on. It's never fun. And it's just not a place you want to be if you come back from this trip and you find yourself
under 500.
It's very conceivable if Washington doesn't fix their ways. They can come back from this road trip and they'll be facing Cleveland a couple games after they get home, like literally 2 or 3 games after they get back. You can find yourself in 10th in the East because you're 12-11. You're a game up on Miami, as we said. Formerly Octavia Knicks. Both Octavia and my former team we root for at a brief time in our lives.
As I'm watching the Thunder play right now.
You know, as we close that chapter on our fandom, they are.
Yeah, they losing to the Jazz right now. Yeah.
Look, man.
I'm dumbfounded with them as well. Only thing I give them is, you know, we go with this whole they got to gel and mesh and get it together.
I got a question though. But for how long do
That's what I'm saying. I completely
it's like with
get
Washington
that.
with what they're going
and
through.
And it's weird though because you know they came out when they played Golden State, they demolished them.
Yeah.
When they played this, they just beat the Spurs the day.
And they held on to beat the Spurs too.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like now you're playing the Jazz and y'all down by 11. They had 19 points in the first quarter. It was 29-19. So it's like it's the same thing we talk about with the Wizards. So it's like, you know, they have the talent, you know, they have the roster. We always talk about how teams look good on paper.
And the biggest thing, you talk about how teams look good on paper, the Wizards are at least 8th in their conference. Right now, Oklahoma City is looking up at New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know, the West
It's
is the
rough out
West.
there.
It's about that time of year. You're quietly seeing the Rockets have been. They were smart. They were like, we're gonna get ahead of this early. We're gonna start this
'cause
season
they've been
strong,
balling.
and they have. They on a 7-game win streak. Golden State's been up and down with their effort and everything else, but again, I can give Golden State a pass somewhat for like the first month and a half of the season. They won a championship.
Yeah.
If they're allowed to have a hangover.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. I'm not really worried about it. That being said, we've yet to see Golden State play up to their standard. They're not playing up to their standard, has them half a game back from Houston. They're in second place. And that's all I'm saying. The next closest team is San Antonio is 3 games back. So, and that's why I don't get what we're talking about Washington is you have no room to have a hangover. You guys should be just as hungry as you were last year. I'm not saying they're not hungry, but we got to see it with the effort. And with Oklahoma City, too, yeah, you're on a 2-game win streak, but you're under 500. And you know in the West, things change so fast. The last place you want to be in the NBA is behind the red line in the West.
Yeah.
That's where you don't want to be
You don't
chasing.
even want to be 8 in the
No,
West.
you don't want to be. You want to be 6 at least.
Yeah, at least. You don't
Like, I
want to be
feel
8
like
or
6
7.
is a safe place. You don't want to be 7 or 8. 7 and 8 are horrible places.
Because even 6 is a little bit because you think.
Yeah.
You
Well,
think,
no, you're right. You don't want to be 6.
Yeah, because
That's San
you
Antonio.
got to go. Exactly. Golden State, Houston, San Antonio. Like, you don't really want to be 6 either. You want to be 5 and 4 to
4
play.
5 is a nice place.
To play against somebody that's close in your range to get out at least the first round. So, it gets real pretty quick out there.
Very quick. So, okay, we got Houston at 18-4. Golden State at 19-6. Keep in mind, San Antonio hasn't seen Kawhi Leonard at all this year.
And
They're
Tony
16
is
and 8.
still.
And Tony just got back a little bit,
Exactly.
like on limited minutes.
Oh, I can't wait till
They're
Kawhi get
16
back
and 8,
too.
but they're 16 and 8. This is what I'm saying. Missing their best player, they're 16 and 8. 13 and 10, Portland, which started slow. They've gotten their act together little by little, and
Still like
they could
Portland.
have a better record because they've dropped a lot of games they've been up in.
Mm-hmm.
You got Denver, which is a surprise. Shout out to Will Barton,
Yeah,
handling
ballin'.
business out there in Denver, acting a fool out in Denver. We got the baby Wolves, who is up and down if they've been. They're 6th at this moment. We got Utah that just got Rudy Gobert back on a 6-game win streak.
Utah,
Utah.
who lost Gordon, and everybody was like, the world is ending for
And
Utah.
Rodney Hood didn't play last night when they played Washington. There was no Rodney Hood last night either. And then
Donovan Mitchell
hey,
he's been special. I like him.
this rookie class, man. And that's the other thing for this rookie class. Some of these players haven't played yet. It's a special class. It was a deep class. Just relax. Let it happen. Just let it happen. I mean, the good thing for Oklahoma City is there's a significant drop-off after the 9th spot. They're in 9th. Behind them are the Clippers. They're on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, we know
So
that's
you go
over
from 10
there.
and 12 at 9 to 8 and 14, 9 and 16, 8 and 15, 8 and 15, 7 and 16.
And you said that the Pelicans are above
12
them.
and 12. They're 8th right now.
And that's what I'm saying. So they're not that far out. They just gotta turn it on. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they just came back a little bit, 36-31, with 6 minutes and 35 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying is you just don't want to be in this type of position right now where you can't make up the ground, because in the second half of the year, post All-Star break, everything's real then. People trying to get playoff ready. Some of these teams that are within like 10 of Houston, 10 or Golden State LA type matchups when the Lakers made it competitive. In February they play again, like we know these are 40-point L's. Like it's for real now. Like it's not playtime. It's for real. Same thing comes San Antonio. Second half of the year, Kawhi's gonna be back. It's no longer playtime. They're on some get back.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't wait.
I can't wait for Kawhi to come back.
It's just crazy to see what people have done with their first chunk of the season and how it may affect them going forward.
Yeah, but everybody keeps saying this is just the beginning. Nobody really cares. Like, okay.
It depends. Look, it depends on who you are to say that, okay?
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's talking to Dabo outside, it's talking to a couple other people. Like, everybody in NBA doesn't have a switch to hit. If you're one of those very rare special teams, like the teams who play in the finals every year,
Yeah.
this past couple years, you have a switch. That's cool. Everyone else, you may not have the same juice when you flip the switch. So we're going to see. Shout out to Jason Tatum leading the NBA in 3-point percentage for
Killing.
right now. I'm just saying for right now.
I like him too.
And another thing to shout out to Klay Thompson. He's as of right now, he's part of the 50-40-90 club. I think for the first time in his life, which is scary.
Yeah,
Said he wanted to become more efficient. He's on his way to doing that.
And let me go ahead and tell the Golden State Warriors, they might as well just go ahead and call Quinn back up. You know, Steph gonna be hurt for a little while. Go ahead and get Quinn back in there. Just saying.
Just real quick.
Just real quick. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just wild to me just to, to see how. And James Harden, oh my goodness, can't ignore James Harden right now. Shout out to LeBron too. He's having one heck of a start of the season. Dame Lillard, again, I'm gonna bring this back up. I think I brought it up 2 weeks ago. Defensively, Dame Lillard's been great this year.
See, people have slept on Dame for so long.
Just want to bring it up.
I've loved Dame since I started paying attention to him out there. We know.
We can go back to the tapes and
go ahead and roll it back.
We definitely there's Melo, there's Dame. You know, we know.
Those are my guys.
It used to be the Knicks, but you let them go.
Hey, you let them go too.
We're not talking about me right now. I let them go way before you.
Okay.
Like years.
That's fine.
And I didn't trade for like a good team. Like I traded all the way down to like a bad team.
I would have traded to a bad team too if he went to a bad
so,
team.
Damo, she went from the Knicks to the Thunder, okay? I went from the Knicks to like the Hornets. You see what I'm saying? Like I went. You said, why did I do that?
I don't know why you did
because,
that.
Look, so Mike D'Antoni at the time, and then Ross said, what was going on with the Knicks? They pushed me to a place in my life which I could no longer be a Knicks fan. That being said, I was like, what I'm not going to do is hop on a good team and enjoy the fruits of a good team when I was obviously a fan of a very bad team.
But
so
see, I didn't want to do
I looked around
it.
the league. I was like, hey, Kemba's out there with nobody. I'll ride with Kemba.
I didn't want to do it
either.
either.
That's how I got there.
I have been the same way I have been since 2003 when Carmelo Anthony got drafted. Okay,
oh my goodness,
I have been the same. Wherever he's been, I have been a fan of that team, and I have been completely honest about that to everybody.
Look, in fairness, you have had the same energy the entire time.
I have been very honest about that from the get-go. Where he goes, I go. I do still like teams. I am a huge Melo fan. That's just me. It's how I've been since he was in high school.
Now, what you're saying now, all your league pass thing is all Melo out, though.
Pretty much.
All right, look, now that we got that, we know that. All right, guys, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Get over to finestmag.com, mymodelsports.com, and don't forget, each and every week, we got the mailbag coming on Thursday. So if you're watching tonight, you're interacting, we'll get back to you. We'll respond back to you on Thursday. Use the hashtag TheFocusTVMB. All right.